It's looking like four more states are planning on legalizing marijuana this year, and this is after New Mexico, New York, and Virginia already have legalized here in 2021.
So now we have to be coming up on 40 states legalized, at least medically.
Medically, yeah. Yeah, can I see that lighter, please? Medically, we're at like 40 states, and then rec, we should be sitting about 16, like 17, 18 now.
And these are the new four looking like recreational?
So here, I'll start with the first one. This is actually off of marijuanamoment.net. So Connecticut, there are two legalization proposals being considered in their legislature. So that's not as set whether it's going to be medical or whether it's going to be recreational yet. If cannabis does not end up on the ballot, it will likely prove popular, as a poll released last month. 66% of Connecticut adults want it to be legal. So that just means that they're saying it's going to be a huge voting topic for the next person if Connecticut doesn't quite make it this year. But it is going to be on the table this year.
Nice. Hopefully they do it. I mean, Connecticut, the Northeast.
50-50 chance this is.
The Northeast is mostly legal at this point. And now that you have New York going recreational, if you're in the Northeast and you're one of the smaller states, like a Connecticut, like a Delaware, I think, which we may mention later on this list. But states like that should be lining up at the door to legalize some form of cannabis. It can help them drive revenue like crazy.
Like you said, Delaware is next. So a bill to legalize marijuana for adult use in Delaware was approved in the first House committee late last month. So
it's made some progress.
For sure.
Delaware.
They said it's the first step, exactly. And they're going to start revising and things like that. That led four of the state's 6 medical cannabis operators to testify against the So I think they're currently medical.
Oh, and it seems like the medical people don't want it to go rec.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a weird dynamic, but I get it.
Accusing the companies of being profit-minded while standing in the way of broader reform. I think that's a way to keep money in their own pockets.
Yeah.
More than anything.
That's what it seems like. I mean, unless the weed is free for a medical patient, but I doubt that.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah. That's a weird dynamic.
Next state, Minnesota. So four House committees have already approved a bill to legalize marijuana in Minnesota, and the majority leader that it will move forward with the remaining committee stops by the end of April. So they'll have setting the stage for action in full chamber in May. So by May, they should know what they're going to be. It will allow adults 21 or older to possess and purchase 1.5 ounces of marijuana and cultivate up to 8 plants, 4 of which can be mature.
So it seems that they have more set guidelines than the other 2 states. So it seems
they're further along in the process
it seems like
already.
They're 70-30 likelihood. It's most likely going to be legal in Minnesota, which is dope. I don't think that's a good climate for cannabis, but I'm sure you're going to find some fire indoor.
For sure. It's saying that a lot of the Republican-controlled Senate are against it, but we'll see what happens. And like any other state, like all states coming up, it's going to become a voting issue, especially as the vid and stuff fades away and it's not as big of a voting topic. Marijuana, I think, will start to become more prominent again.
And I think it could be seen as a potential rescue plan for a lot of these states.
Yeah.
You know, like Definitely. The smaller states, like a Minnesota who has been really, really hit hard by not just COVID, but they also got a brunt of the riots in some of their cities too, and then they had a lot of that. That thing was like $1 billion. Yeah, I think they're literally one going on right now.
I mean, that's where it all started, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
And I think they just did the same shit again. So now the more riots are coming. So for them in particular, more so than any other state I could really think of, there may be a need for them to legalize just for tax revenue to keep more businesses afloat, to bring more business to the state, because it's like the perfect recovery package. Insert cannabis into any state and it's going to make the state money.
And I think it says in December that Senate Republicans don't go along with the policy change. He said, I think one of the Republican leaders is Winkler. He said he hopes that at least let voters decide on cannabis as a 2020 ballot measure. Well, I think, no, that's a Democrat. But I'm just saying that, they're saying at least by 2022 when they get to re-vote and stuff, they'll put it on the ballot and not just have the government do full legalization.
Yeah.
But it's just like, why would I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. But it's progress, I guess you could say.
So what's the fourth?
The fourth is Rhode Island.
That's another. We got 3 of like the smallest states.
Hell yeah.
But any legalization is good legalization. So.
They said their plan would be 21 years or older to possess and purchase an ounce, and then they're figuring out the grow options. But yeah, they're starting to move that forward as well.
So we got Rhode Island, Minnesota being the most major of the markets of those states. You got Minnesota, Delaware, Rhode Island, and what's the fourth?
Delaware, did you say that?
Yeah, the first one is the one.
Connecticut.
Yeah. So yeah, of those 4 states, Minnesota being probably the biggest market, with Connecticut probably being the richest. I think Connecticut has like a strange concentration of wealth. I think
Delaware does.
Oh, maybe it's Delaware. Yeah, one of those states.
Because the way your taxes can get filed in that state, for sure.
So that could be since so many rich people already funnel their money through the state, I'm sure they own some property, and it's going to go from a market that doesn't exist to a booming market quick because there's going to be a lot of rich people there.
Some more news here. A bill to decriminalize marijuana possession in Texas, as well as a separate proposal to reduce penalties for possessing concentrates, advanced out of Key House Committee on Friday. This is here in Texas, so
that's big.
Trying to make it to where dabs aren't a felony, as they should not be.
Yeah, is that what they're proposing, like to lower the laws?
That's part of it. Yeah, okay. It says reduce penalties for concentrate, and then decriminalize marijuana possession overall, like altogether.
I mean, what's the point of going through that step and not making it at least medical? If you're going to be like, look, you can't even get in trouble for having it, but the state doesn't want to make any money off of it, it might be ideal, to be honest, in terms of a consumer perspective. But from the state's perspective, like, what is the logic behind that?
It said, but arguably the most significant piece of cannabis legalization to move out of committee would make possession of up to an ounce a Class C misdemeanor that carries a fine, no threat of jail time. So no more going to jail ever in the state of Texas.
Anything
for weed.
Under an ounce?
Yeah. So up to an ounce for the state. And then depending on what city you're in, like Houston, it's 4.
Yeah.
But the state is an ounce.
So hopefully that passes. It's a great first step, but a step that may make Texas the biggest cannabis market in the United States.
Yeah, a step I think they might regret, but it's okay. And it would raise the THC cap for medical marijuana products from 0.5% to 5%. Like, sheesh. Okay.
0.5% is the law right now?
Yeah. Because it's only for children.
Oh, okay.
It's only for children with epilepsy. I think it's like the only medication that can be produced for.
So as long as hopefully it works.
It would move it up because 5%. I mean, that's not a lot, but we're getting into Reggie being able to be legal.
Yeah, that's
medically
true. Some good old Reggie, but I see that as long as the 5% is within the barrier of what would help children, I guess that helps. But that's weird restrictions and weird laws to have. So you're going to decriminalize it. So you're not going to profit off of putting in people in prison for it anymore like you currently do, but you're also not going to tax it. It just seems weird. It just means like bring your weed and sell it on the street legally.
Yeah.
That's really, but not legally because you don't got to pay taxes on it. That's a strange set of circumstances.
Yeah, it's just Marijuana Moment. This website I'm reading off of is already tracking more than 900 cannabis, psychedelic, and drug policy bills.
Nice.
State legislators in Congress this year.
Nice. The year of the psychedelics.
Right?
Because cannabis, I mean, it's coming. The psychedelics is making a quicker, I would say, like the push for psychedelic legalization
way faster
has happened. Way quicker. Like cannabis has been trying to be legalized since like the 70s.
Yeah.
Like since the day they made it illegal, there's been the push to make it legal again.
We're talking about 60, 70 years.
Yeah.
I didn't even know people knew about shrooms and they're talking about legalizing
Exactly. Like I think Colorado decriminalized them already, right?
Yeah, and Oregon.
Oregon decriminalized, I think like all drugs over there. They just said how you can have all of the party packs.
Drugs. Yeah, for sure.
Which I actually agree with in 100%. Theory. Yeah, it's like fuck.
Not in theory, in practice.
Yeah, but I mean, hopefully it works in practice. I just don't know. But I think based on what my judgment would be that it would work in practice. Because if I saw crack on the store at Walgreens, I'm not going to go buy crack, you know?
I agree, and I don't think it would also be the same crack that was cooked by somebody in their bathtub. Either.
Yeah, and I don't know if it would ever be mass consumer crack on the shelves. So you guys know, you know what I mean. I'm not going to
their version of crack.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's what I'm saying. I don't think it would ever be like the bathtub baking soda
like
crack.
OJ the Juice Man special crack
I don't
made
think
in the
so.
Atlanta laboratories.
Exactly. No, I think that it would. They might call it crack, but it would really be some mixture of like fucking dabs, Molly, and some weird shit that they would make legal.
That's going to be the strangest part of legalization is, people are going to come up with these cross hybrid drugs that do the craziest things.
People already do them. Like,
yeah.
I forgot what it's called, but it's a couple different
Party
names
pack.
for it. No, like candy flipping or something like that.
Yeah,
what people do.
Sure.
I know that's like a rave thing where they do the Molly and acid or something like that.
Yeah,
that
sure.
shit. Yeah,
I mean, like not mixing them. I mean, like a capsule that has.
That's what I mean. They've already started it with just taking both drugs.
Like you're gonna take this capsule, you're gonna hallucinate for about 3.5 hours. At the back end of that hallucination, you're gonna have the giggle for about 15 minutes. That's when the LSD kicks in. It's like it's a time released hallucination that they coach you through.
For sure. And we know you need to stay focused at the end, so we'll backdoor with Addy.
Yeah, exactly. You could walk right into your college exam. 8 hours, no sleep, just walk right in, get an A.
Then you get a nice dose of melatonin to help you sleep right after.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's kind of exciting, actually. Because they're going to have all sorts of different nootropic drugs. And that's what I'm most excited about psychedelic legalization, let alone cannabis, which is, nothing but positive all around. But psychedelic legalization is the things that they're going to discover.
Like, it's gonna be crazy.
Because it's illegal in most places now, and some of the things that they found out is crazy
and super taboo.
Yeah,
People
think you do shrooms, that you're just an absolute
you're insane.
drug addict.
Yeah, like you're crazy.
You have no hope.
No,
and I
the
know
people that do shrooms, I feel have the most hope.
Yeah, and because of what I thought. Like the only people that do mushrooms, like you got to be deep into the
got to be down
life.
bad.
Like who does? Where do you even procure those things? Like mushrooms, and now it's like. I think everybody should do these things.
Definitely. This makes sense for everyone.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's not a recommendation. I'm not a doctor, but I'm very pleased with my psilocybin adventures, one would say.
And there's what happens when you combine Adderall and cannabis fucking article. This must be written by a kid that went to college and fucked
Is it one capsule? Like an Adderall?
No, it's just like what happens when you combine it.
Well, I mean, you graduate college with honors like I did.
Yeah, I'm saying. You become the American dream. Huh?
Yeah, that's how you achieve the American dream. Again, we're not doctors.
Yeah, no, this is definitely saying it's not a good idea.
I could see why. It's an accelerant and a more relaxant.
And it's really just saying that Adderall is not good for anybody.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a good medication to take for anybody, so.
Yeah, that's a fair argument. I know, because those post-Adderall slumps.
Yeah, it said it's for Adderall. People get mad after Adderall.
Oh,
like
Adderall.
That's what it's for.
That's very true. Adderall is real as shit. It's because you forget to eat and drink water. Yeah, if Adderall is a thing that most people are taking, why can't marijuana be too? And alcohol, the one thing I'll never understand is, like, the people who are anti-marijuana have to be really, really bought into being, like, the anti-marijuana. Like, they can't, like, they have to be almost blinded to the truth.
But I think that's how it is, bro. When you're super anti something, you don't learn about it.
Yeah, and you only find things that go with your side. Like, if you hate marijuana, you're Googling, why is marijuana terrible?
Exactly. It's like with religion, with that, with what we see on TV, like, you're looking at from whatever your perspective is.
Yeah.
And if you already have a negative connotation or whatever it is, if you even look it up, you're going to look it up exactly with your negative mindset.
Yeah, exactly. So we got 4 states looking to legalize marijuana. What were they? One more time. Delaware, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Minnesota. Got them.
Hell yeah.
So that at this point, legalization is everywhere. We're here in Texas, we're closed in by legalization. I think all recreational, with the exception of Oklahoma, which 9,000
And I think it's only
growers.
decriminalizing Louisiana too. I don't know what's happening. I think
Yeah,
Louisiana.
Darion was asking me about Louisiana. I was like, I
I'm
don't
pretty
know.
sure it's just decriminalized
Okay.
in New Orleans. I don't even know if it's the whole state.
Yeah. So yeah, in Louisiana, I don't think would be. I guess it would be the final piece to fully encapsulating Texas, but that's just the southeastern or eastern border. I forget.
It's making a move, and it's crazy because it's getting to the south, and honestly, quicker than I thought. Probably quicker than I thought, but at the same time, until we see full thriving markets, I think we're still looking at like 3 to 5 years.
So where it's like Texas legal, or like just nationwide.
Nationwide, I think it's 3 to 5 years, bro.
Yeah.
Now that how quickly it's moving,
I think it's
because the
not
next
gonna
election is going to be it's going to be a deciding factor unless we see another.
That's what I was gonna say.
Another like crazy thing happen.
I think the only time it's gonna be federally legal is when it becomes an issue that they run on. Because right now they're like, I don't think Biden or any president that or Trump before that. I think Obama kind of said he would try to do something about it.
Yeah.
But Biden said nothing. Trump said nothing. Like the industry's just been at a standstill on the federal level.
Yeah.
Like no.
They
nothing.
said Biden just brought in somebody, one of the people that was introducing a law, and I think it was Connecticut. I think on here was like huge for like state run weed legalization or whatever, and she just left Connecticut to join the Biden administration as one of his like advisors or something. So
Hopefully
that's a positive.
It seems to be trending in the direction towards it reasonably makes sense on every front. Economically, we need an economic boost now more than ever after post-COVID. I mean, the world needs one, but we could lead the charge and be in the front steps of federal marijuana legalization.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking hopefully this mix at the end of something as terrible as the pandemic has been with the lockdowns and the madness and the death and the destruction, maybe there's a flower at the end of that when things start getting back to normal as a form of recovery. They decide to legalize weed.
A weed flower,
Yeah, exactly. There it is. Yeah, the weed flower blooms at the end of the destruction.
I'm dead. Phoenix.
Yeah, exactly. There it is. We made it. We got to pitch Biden on that. That's a good slogan for him to use. In the midst of all the chaos, as your president, I'm going to allow the flower to bloom. It's just a weed nug. That's it.
That's it.
That's all I need. Do anything else you want. I won't pay attention anymore. I'll be growing. I'll be tending to my plant.
Yeah, like politics no longer will matter to me.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be it.
Appreciate you guys.
Hell yeah. It's been another one.
Indeed it has.
Peace.